It's time to talk fantasy football. It's time to let them know. Where you let us crunch the numbers while you crush the competition. So grab your playbooks and crack a cold one, because here's your hosts, Teak and Baney.
Welcome back, guys, to another episode of the Let 'Em Know podcast. I'm your host, Teak, here with my co-host, Baney and Badge. We have another video entry for you here, and then we're going to go right on into the starts of Week 7. All right, so this video entry here is from John Wolf. Let's see what he got us here.
Hey, let them know. John Wolf here. With bye weeks here, do you have any stream play ideas with the wide receiver or running back positions?
All right, any stream plays for the running back or wide receiver positions? Baney, you want to kick us off here?
Yeah, so one thing that's really sticking out to me is the running back situation in Detroit. We know Montgomery is going to be out. However, Gibbs missed time last week and has kind of shown that he's kind of a 1-2 punch guy. That being said, I know Teak is really hoping to see a full workload. But that being said, I think Reynolds is I think he's a pickup this week. I think he's a good play. That being said, wide receivers, my advice all year is going to be pick up somebody who is playing the Vikings, the Chargers, the Bears, and the Broncos. I don't think you can miss if you pick up an asset on one of those teams. Just moving forward the rest of the year, I think that's my advice. Running back's a little tricky. Pay attention to the Gibbs report throughout the week. That's all I got for you. Wide receivers against bad defenses, and possibly Reynolds this week. So that's all I got for you.
Yeah, Baney, Teak's not the only one that's crossing their fingers on Gibbs. I am too. I'm a little shareholder. But hey, John, I'm going bold for you this week, buddy. I want to win you some stuff. I got a little stream play here, but it's an if. A what if? If CMC does not play, I'm going bold. I'm stream starting Jordan Mason, not Elijah Mitchell. So Mason has 2 TDs in 2 games. I got him right now plugged in a FanDuel lineup. FanDuel, shout out. I'm going to ask you every week, every time. We want your picture here. Hit us up. You know where to find us. Teek's going to put his email out anyways. 2 TDs last 2 games, cheap in FanDuel. I picked him up in the league. I got a waiver wire claim. I got a lot of buys going on. So I'm going bold for you, John. I'm glad you asked that. Quick, I don't want to ramble here, but a quick wide receiver start as well. Stream start, Wan'Dale Robinson. He had against 28th ranked past Washington defense. He had 8 targets, 8 receptions against the Bills. So stream start as well.
Yeah, I like both those options. If you're still looking at running back, I know Zach Evans is out there too for the Rams. Kyron, I believe, is he dedicated that he's out?
I think he's going to miss some time, yeah. I think that came out today.
So there's a lot of movement on that front over there with the Rams. Zach Evans is the top guy getting picked up right now in leagues. Other than that, I don't know if you guys seen all the movement that's going on with the Rams and the running back position over there. They added who they had over there? They had actually 2 running backs. Darrell Henderson's back on the practice team.
And Royce Freeman.
Rolls-Royce.
So Zach Evans might be a quick start this week, and he might be out next, but at least he's a play for you as well. But we're going to move right on in here to the starts. You know the drill. We're going to go around the horn. Baney's going to start us off like usual. Baney at the QB position.
Alrighty, guys. So I switched it up how I did this entire list this week. There was a stat that came up this week. 9 backup quarterbacks saw action this week. Injuries everywhere, crazy stuff all over the place. So I started thinking, bye weeks are here, injuries are here. I'm solely going to put this list together based off of people that are on waiver wires in my own personal league and whether or not I would start them or sit them this week. So that being said, Sam Howell is a must start this week. The Giants are giving up almost 28 points a game, 65 passing first downs. They're giving up 64% completion percentage. And sneaky stats for you on Sam Howell. He's 9th in the league in yards with 1,500, 9th in the league in touchdowns with 9, and he's 5th in attempts with 214 pass attempts. He's kind of putting together a nice little season. He just needs to stop getting sacked every other play. So there's potential for even more stats here, more touchdowns. Just got to keep his jersey clean. But that's who my start is this week. I think it makes sense against the Giants defense. They're struggling.
Yeah, Baney, I love the word you use, sneaky. So he is very sneaky good. Past 3 games against Philly, 21 fantasy points. Against Chicago, 30 fantasy points. And last week, sorry, Teak, against Atlanta, he had 24. So I don't hate the start at all. Coming a good matchup against the Giants. So very sneaky, Baney.
Yeah, I like him a lot. They need a line.
Yeah.
And I feel like you're going to see more value out of him after that. But besides that, yeah, I like the start as well.
Hey, you talking about his offensive line. He is on pace to be sacked 20 more times than David Carr in the expansion team Houston Texans.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Week 3 against Buffalo, 9. So couldn't imagine being that guy. And he keeps getting back up, dude. I mean, dude's tough.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
Get this guy a wall. He likes to throw it. I mean, he likes to sling.
Yeah, he's ranked quarterback number 12 right now.
Sneaky.
So
Baney used the right word.
Badge, who do you got the QB position?
So my stardom QB, you know me, I like to go matchup here. I'm starting Geno Smith against the Cardinals. So the Cardinals have a bottom 5. They give up the 5th most fantasy points to quarterbacks. Last week, I mean, that offense had a down game, but still, Geno had 320 yards. The TDs weren't there. He had a couple interceptions. I expect a big bounce back game with this offense. It's a great spot here for that to happen. So Geno spreading the ball around nicely to the big 3, I call it. We finally got to see a little bit of Jackson Smith. He's getting involved, seeing some targets. I think Geno's going to replace those couple INTs with some tutties this week. So my start is going to be Geno Smith against the Cardinals.
Yeah, I think, we talked about Geno a handful of times on the show that the beginning of the year, he was going to make his claim and stuff, and then the end of the year was going to get a lot thicker and a lot harder. So, I mean, take it one step further, start Geno this week, hope it's a big week, and then maybe you can sell him at his peak before he hits the end of the tail end of the season where he's facing some of the top pass rushers in the league week after week. So you hit the nail on the head against this Cardinals defense, man. I think Geno could really have a really good week. I don't think there'll be so many turnovers this week either. So good start.
Yeah, besides that last week with the 2 picks, the other 4, he only had 1. He spread the ball around nice. I just think the touchdowns aren't there because Kenneth Walker is producing so well on the ground for him. That is the only reason why would you throw the ball when you could just run it, for touchdowns. So I think the touchdowns will come. I also have Geno Smith here as a start. I'm always matchup based. I like the matchup. And yeah, I think the touchdowns are going to come. It's just a matter of time. So, but moving on to the running back position, Baney.
Yeah, so Badge touched on this during the intro here with the mailbag. My start running back is going to be Jordan Mason. Obviously, pending CMC goes. That's kind of a big deal. The oblique rib. That's a sensitive injury for a running back. He's had a rushing touchdown in the last 2 games. It's not just simply just a rushing touchdown. It's a rushing touchdown against the best 2 defenses in football. One against Cleveland, one against Dallas. On top of all of this, we also don't know if Debo is going to go. So that's another rushing threat we don't have to worry about. Another asset in that offense. So, yeah, man, he's a good player. I know a lot of 49ers fans are big on Jordan Mason anyway over Mitchell. And, I mean, Mitchell's just not an injury risk that I'm willing to take anyways. So yeah, Jordan Mason must start this week. I think it's a no-brainer, honestly.
Yeah, great point, Baney. I wasn't thinking about those 2 touchdowns against those 2 defenses. I mean, top tier defenses right there. I think if you're going to rest those guys, CMC obviously a huge part of the offense. 999 games, consecutive games with a touchdown. You got to rest them. Now's the time against the Vikings defense. So I think without these guys, they got enough to win. I mean, you're 5-1. You got to stay healthy. So, yeah, I'm glad you agree with that on the mailbag. So, good point though with those defenses. Teak?
Yeah, it's obviously a start depending on if McCaffrey plays or not.
Yep.
That's the huge thing. I think the timetable, they're saying him and Debo might be ready for Monday night. So depending on whether they want to play him or not, that's going to be it. And it's just a tough start because it is a Monday night game. So that's the only thing too. So do you want to flip the coin whether McCaffrey's going to play or not? That's the only thing I'm looking at. But other than that, yeah, against Dallas, they probably gave him 10 touches there. He had 69 yards and a touchdown. This dude can produce. It's just he needs the workload. So I like to start, especially if McCaffrey doesn't play.
Yeah, just last little nugget on this, not a self-plug, but Graziano put that report out at the beginning of the year. I made a TikTok talking about it, and it blew up. And everybody was just like, no, this is not going to happen. No, they're going to do all this and that. And exactly what happened is exactly what they said they weren't going to do. They said that they were going to put CMC on a snap count to reduce all this stuff. They've played him multiple games at 100% snap rate. Why not just give him a week off? It's this Vikings defense. It's a lollipop defense. They should win this game easily. You got 5-1 record, should be 6-0, but whatever. Just take the weeks when you can get them and rest your players for a playoff run. I don't understand it. You don't need to start this guy. You don't need CMC this week. It doesn't make sense to me personally. A fantasy owner, of course, you want CMC there, but it just doesn't make sense.
Especially no JJ. I mean, I feel like you got to rest him. But so I'll jump into mine. So my running back start of the week, another great spot, great matchup, I feel at least. I'm going Josh Jacobs against the Bears. So with Jimmy G's question and health in question, I mean, Jacobs finished with 25 carries. So I think that's the most workload we've seen all year from him. Bears bottom 3 rush defense. Brian Hoyer the Destroyer. We like to call him a savvy vet. I expect Jacobs to carry a lot of this workload, and they're going to run the ball. So I'm taking the touches. I'm taking Jacobs against his defense. Josh Jacobs against the Bears.
Yeah, little nugget on that. Going into last week, he was leading all running backs in receiving yards too. So just a little bonus on that. So not something I expected to learn coming into this week. But yeah, Josh Jacobs, receiving threat apparently.
Yeah, Josh Jacobs, to me, the receiving end is nice because the last couple of games here, he had 11, 20, and 28. So with those receiving, he wouldn't be there without that. Rushing-wise, we thought he would break out earlier in the year with that Denver, the Chargers. Chargers, he had a great game, but Chicago, he should as well. I like the start. I just don't like this offense, and I don't know where this offense is going to go with this QB. Obviously, he's going to see a lot of checkdowns because it's a new QB, young QB. I don't know. That offense, Badge. I know me and Badge had the against the spread segment. He asked me about this game, and I just want no part of it. I know there's big names in this game, but I just don't see me trusting any of these offenses. especially the Raiders right now. But moving on to mine, Aaron Jones. I have. If he plays this week, he's going up against the worst rushing defense in the NFL. That's if he plays. Giving up the most fantasy points to this position. Jones is a dual threat where he will get most of the targets there, obviously. A.J. Dillon is not a pass-catching back threat whatsoever to them. So he's going to see that full workload. And against a terrible defense in Denver, the sky's the limit. I know they just signed another running back too, so we'll see if he ends up playing. But that's the only thing. Kind of like your matchup with the running back from San Fran.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Aaron Jones, man, it's a hammy, and it's just been lingering. It's a bummer, too, because didn't he break out real big at the beginning of the year, too? Had a couple really nice games, nice receiving game, and then all of a sudden it's just kind of been crickets since then. And
well, it was week one only against Chicago. You had 27. So.
He's a player you wish you could just see, like, full season, full workload, no injuries. We get glimpses, we get tastes, and then we just stare at him on our IR. That was brutal to get to. But yeah, no, that's just he's just an IR hero for most teams, and it's just a what if. And like you said, man, if you can get him healthy and you can get him against the worst rushing defense in football, man, start him because you've been waiting to.
Oh, yeah. I will say one thing about this offense and Aaron Jones, this Packers offense and Jordan Love need him back and need him back healthy. I mean, like Teak said, 27 points week one. Haven't seen anything else. Hopefully he's healthy. Hopefully they gave him the rest he needs. Love the matchup. This offense desperately needs him. He's a big part of it. He's going to get the ball. He's going to catch passes. He's going to put up points when healthy in this offense. So, yeah, as long as he plays, he's in my lineup.
He's had 5 weeks of rest, so hopefully that's enough. But moving on to the wide receiver position here, Bainey.
So me and Badge must be on save like wavelengths or something. Another player we talked about in the intro, Wan'Dale Robinson. I think he's a must start this week. He's on waivers in my league. That's how I was orchestrating this list for the most part. PPR plug, man. At the beginning of the year, he wasn't really healthy. Okay, so take that aside. His last 4 weeks, 8 catches on 8 targets, 5 catches on 6 targets, 5 on 6, and 4 on 5. Just almost getting 10 points just off catches alone without factoring in yards. That's huge. Commanders secondary, absolute mess. They're sitting starters already. The cornerback that they drafted is getting absolutely roasted. The Commanders defense, they're giving up 29 points a game, 250 yards passing, and 12 passing touchdowns. And to be honest with you, you really hope to see Tyrod Taylor play again. Exactly. I'm not going to lie. They could actually move the ball, orchestrate a nice 2-minute drive at the end of the game. I know the Bills are kind of riddled with injuries. However, he played a much better defense than he's going to face this week. I think Wan'Dale Robinson, if he played on a different team, I think you're not even able to get him off waivers. You would actually be starting him. But, it looks like he's wide receiver 1 in New York. And, I think it makes sense to start him this week. Bad defense, great matchup.
Exactly. We touched on it. Bainey, I like it. 8 targets, 8 receptions. That's always good for fantasy. You mentioned Tyrod Taylor. I was going to touch on that. Sometimes change is good. I mean, ever since Tyrod was with the Bills, I always said this guy was a scrappy dude. I mean, he just moves the ball. He brings a different momentum to the game. I don't know. He's fun to watch sometimes, So hopefully we see a little bit more of Tyrod. So, Teak?
Yeah, I know. Like everywhere Tyrod's been, he kind of had glimpses. He's kind of like the Fitzpatrick now of the league, where he kind of moves around a lot and he produces. I know with the Chargers, he was there for a while. The Bills, he's a journeyman and he produces. So there's a reason why he's on an NFL roster, and it's finally nice to see these weapons actually getting used for the Giants. So
Just keep the training staff away from him. Didn't they puncture one of his lungs or something?
Yeah,
Oh,
dude.
Got the short
Almost-
end there.
Yeah, almost died.
So, scrappy dude.
but what do you have at the wide receiver position, Badge?
All right. So, all right, guys. So, I'm dying right now. This is killing me to say. I'm going to call reverse psychology and hope this guy doesn't do good, but I got to start him. So, I'm going Puka Nakua against the Steelers. So, Puka had a down week last week. Kupp has been the guy. I have a feeling they might both have a breakout game. Who knows? The secondary, the Steelers secondary, my Steelers secondary, gives up ton of points to wide receivers. I mean, we've seen 2 of them back to back on the top 5 recap list. I expect to see Puka this week and Kupp maybe. Who knows? So yeah, anyone against the Steelers wide receiver right now is a must start in the secondary. So, Maney?
Yeah, it's TJ Watt versus the world over there. It's not really working out for the secondary at all this year. I don't know what their plans were. It doesn't look good. And yeah, Steelers rank among the top in fantasy points allowed by the wide receivers. It seems like we talk about wide receivers against that defense every single week, and I don't really know how we got here. Steelers used to be able to hang their hat on their defense, and even when their offenses were not that great, they were able to win games on defense. Now it seems like their defense is the biggest liability. It makes no sense because they have a future Hall of Famer at the end, but they can't stop a cold. And I think Stafford should have been honorary start on this episode as well, because I think he's a threat for 300. I don't know. Maybe we'll get Teek's favorite part of this offense, Tutu Atwell, activated as well. Yeah, it's going to be a rough day. Rooting for you, Badge. I'll be sending welfare calls and see how you're doing throughout the day. And Teek, how we doing?
Yeah, I think Puka's going to have a bounce back because his targets are still up there. He's still getting 9-10 targets a game, even with Cooper Kupp back. So he's definitely going to see that. Yeah, he caught 4 of 7 for 26 yards, but I was kind of watching that game. There's a couple games where he got tripped up or he could have got a lot more yards than what it's shown. But yeah, that defense, man, I wouldn't say for Pittsburgh that's the liability in Pittsburgh. That offense is definitely worse than that defense.
We know why.
By far. Some might say, I know we were talking at work, some might say it's the QB, some might say it's the OC.
Yes.
That's for people to decide, not me. But yeah, I like the start as well.
Yeah,
Fire his ass.
Puka dropped a touchdown in that game too, so I think that is important to highlight. The stat sheet looks a lot worse than I think the game actually was, for sure. But
moving on to my guy, he had back-to-back good weeks. I'm on the train still. He's rolling through now. I'm gonna do it for my fucking Miami fans because everybody thinks I hate Miami. We are waddling here over here.
Let me see.
We are waddling. Okay. Against Philly, their cornerback situation. I know Slay's coming back, Bradbury, whatever. Someone's got to guard Tyreek. But my boy, it's Waddle season. It looks like this injury, he's feeling better week by week with it. So, and it's a great matchup for the wide receiver there in Philly.
Badge, I'm looking at you in the face. You want a prop bet, Poppy? You got him. Here's your prop bets for the week. Every over on Miami's offense, take it. Waddle's over, take it. Tyreek Hill's over, take it. The friggin' water boy over, take it. It's
over the cup fills. Over the cup fills.
Everything. It's if there's a vape over that you can take for McDaniels, take that too. Oh my gosh, dude. We lost like 3 more members of the secondary last week. If Waddle doesn't go for 100+ on a touchdown, it's going to be a robbery. It's it's a no-brainer for me, Teak. It's kick me while I'm down. That's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm expecting a shootout in that game. I mean, take the over. That Miami defense, you saw how quick that Carolina Panthers, they scored. I mean, I'm expecting a shootout, taking that over for sure. Yeah, Waddle. There's going to be a lot of Penguins in my living room, I feel like. So I'm starting that whole I'm starting that whole offense. Minus maybe, well, you got to start Mostert, but I don't know who's going to cover him, like Baney said.
Yeah, you mentioned a shootout. I'm surprised when you said that we didn't get a Julio Jones sign with the Eagles take from Baney. I'm shocked. I know I got a text earlier today, but I had a feeling it was coming, but it wasn't. I mean, I got the jersey over my shoulder here, and you let me down.
In order to have a take, I would have to have an understanding, and I really don't have an understanding of this signing at all. I know we got Zacchaeus.
You guys love the Falcons.
I don't understand. We love the NFC South. We signed all the secondary from the Saints, and now we signed all the wide receivers from Atlanta. And we got Mariota, too. So
that's what I'm saying. You love the Falcons, and even in the past, you had Vic, you had all these other guys. It's like...
Yeah, I don't understand. I don't know. Julio, please bring something to this offense. I don't know. He's big enough. Maybe he can line up at right tackle because Lane Johnson's hurt. I don't know. I got nothing on this. It doesn't make sense. I thought we'd be bringing in secondary, but we're bringing in offensive weapons, I guess. And maybe he plays. Hopefully he plays. I don't know. Like you said, shootout, all this stuff. Dolphins secondary is not necessarily great. So I don't know. Maybe he has a big game, and it looks like it was a great signing. But as far as a take on it, I do not have a take on it. It's very confusing.
Yeah, if it makes you feel better, he did have glimpses in Tampa where he actually showed out pretty nice. So.
Yeah, my biggest excitement for this is that he beat out people. There was other wide receivers at the workout. I mean, Marquez Callaway, stuff like that. So, I mean, that makes me feel a little – it's not like a legacy signing, I guess. There's a reason he's going to be there, so hopefully he gets to contribute.
All right. Moving to the tight end position, Beatty.
Oh, this is the grittiest list I've put together, and it's just going to keep getting gritty. Michael Mayer is going to be my tight end to start this week. If you don't know him, it's probably because you didn't watch much college football or you don't really pay attention to Notre Dame football. He's one of the best tight ends in college for his college career. And he really didn't do anything through the first portion of this season. They really haven't activated him. The last 2 weeks, he's starting to get in there. He's starting to outproduce Austin Hooper. We saw it last week. He was leading receiver with 6 targets, 5 catches, and 75 yards. Week before that was 2 catches, 39 yards. It really is based on last week's production. And if Hoyer plays, I'm not sure that it's a bad thing because he got all this production with Hoyer. The last 5 tight ends to play this defense, TJ Hawkinson, 6 catches for 50 yards. Logan Thomas, 9 catches, 77 yards and a touchdown. Kelsey, 7, 69, touchdown. Cade Otton, which is about similar, I would say, skill set, is 6 catches, 41 yards. And then Musgrave's first game of the season, 3 catches for 50 yards. So if you got to stream a tight end this week, I'm going to try to say Michael Mayer. DFS lineup, sure. I mean, you can't really find a starting tight end much cheaper. And I think it might be a sneaky good start, guys. I really do. He's had comps to what's his name now? I just blanked on everything I was going to say. But just erase that from your memory. It's fine. Michael Mayer, I'm just confused about it as you are, but he's going to be starting your lineup this week. I'm calling it. I hit the Logan Thomas. I'm going to hit this one, I promise.
Baney, it's funny you say that. I mean, Hoyer, I like it even more. I was just going to ask if his production came from Hoyer, but you answered that. It was a yes. I actually have him in my FanDuel lineup. I'm going to let you take it, Baney. What am I going to say about FanDuel?
Just hit him with the sponsor, guys. We're as tired of hearing about it as you are. He wants the sponsorship. Give him the sponsorship. He deserves it, man. He's your biggest fan. He's locking in bets every week. Just give him the sponsorship. Come on.
I'm going to start writing letters every day until you guys answer. I'm going to write you a letter a day for the next year. So, anyways, I love the matchup, Baney. I put him in there. I love the price. I like Hoyer even more. He's a savvy vet. I think he can get it done. I think he's competent enough to get it done. Guy has hands. He has finesse. I like it. So, I'm going to pass it back. Nope. Teak. Change the boxes.
Yeah. The production's up there. Snap percentage went up as well from 66 to 81. So he's seen the field a lot more as well. When he did see the field, like Benny said, 5 catches for 75 yards. So, yeah, tight end is a tough position. No matter what it is, DFS, fantasy, it's just if you don't have those top 3 or top 2 tight ends, you're streaming tight ends, you're playing matchups. So, yeah, could be a perfect matchup for him against a Chicago defense. So,
I need my redemption. His draft comp was Jason Witten. I don't know what happened. If I had brain aneurysm, stroke, I don't know. But, yeah, Jason Witten was his draft comp. Obviously, he hasn't proven that he's a Hall of Fame caliber tight end. I understand that. But it's athleticism based and his ability to catch the ball. He had a great career in Notre Dame. If you need, further validation on this, go watch some highlight tapes. Notre Dame's put a lot of guys in the NFL at the tight end position. So I think he's the next guy to take that step for the Irish. And I do. I think that he's finally getting those steps. We've talked about it at length, TKU specifically, of tight ends needing that time as rookies to be able to perform and adapt to the NFL. I think that they let him in slowly. I think they were trying to see if Hooper was the guy. I think Hooper's aging out, and Michael Mayer's finally taken that step. So,
and just to roll off that, since you're giving me all this praise, I'm going to put my hand on my back here, give me some more praise. I told you Dalton Kincaid was not going to be a factor. I told you Sam Laporta was going to be that guy, and he is him. So I just want to throw that out there too while you're on it.
Rookie tight end whisperer. That's right underneath Teague's bio. That's his next title.
And it's nice that Atlanta dodged another bullet. You mentioned Hooper. He wanted to be the highest paid tight end in history, and thank God they didn't pay him. It was just another Matt Ryan production.
Yeah.
And hats off to Matty Ice. We're seeing he's starting to get a lot more appreciation around the Falcons community. I'll tell you that. But
tough
Badge
right there, Benny.
But Badge, your tight end here.
So my tight end, I'm going another rookie. I'm going Luke Musgrave against the Broncos. So the Broncos have a bottom 5 defense against the tight end position. Luke, last 3 games, he left early one of those games with 0. He's averaging 6 targets a game. So I expect him to find the end zone this week. The Broncos are giving up 60 yards to tight ends per game, so I expect at least 60 yards in a TD. Musgrave, great spot here for a solid game against this Denver Broncos defense. So, Baney?
Yeah, I think 11 is like the magic little number there for tight ends, 11 points. And I think that he can definitely give you that, especially against this defense. I mean, you sprinkle in a red zone touchdown, you're living well. Yeah, dude, tight end's a tricky position this year. But I think Musgrave's great start.
I'm torn on Musgrave, to be honest with you. It's been an up and down season for him. I don't know whether it's him, Jordan Love, I don't know. The games I watched, it's been kind of iffy for me with Musgrave. Matchup based, yeah, this is a perfect matchup for him. You always want to go against, we just said it again with Baney's pick. With the tight end position, you're always going matchup based, and this is a good matchup. But as a player as a whole, man, I'm 50-50 on him right now. I don't know what I think about Musgrave as a player yet.
Teak, I'm going to answer that right now and make you go 60-40. The key factor in this offense, we talked about him, Aaron Jones. He's back. I like Musgrave even more. So
I think it's a different conversation if we got to actually see him play on that Thursday night game. He got smoked on like the opening drive, had a concussion, put up a goose egg. It's really unfortunate, so we can't see another week worth of work. It kind of sucks. But yeah, I understand Teague's side of this for sure, but the matchup is saying play him.
All right, and then moving to my pick here to wrap it up. This guy is a start for me, is George Kittle. Just solely based off of no clue yet if McCaffrey and Debo are going to play. If they don't, more power to you to starting this guy. Someone has to produce on this offense, and it's going to be Ayuk and Kittle. So especially if those two don't play, he's a must start for me, especially against this Minnesota defense.
Yeah, I mean, I've said it before as far as, he was on my fades list. We talked at length with D-Bro about it. But I'm a firm believer in bounce back games, in games like get right games. And he really didn't get the ball at all during the Cleveland game. And like you said, there's going to be missing weapons. They didn't give him the ball last week. They lost. He's a difference maker. Give him the ball. It's that simple. We know Ayuk's going to get his. We do. But Kittle's going to be an asset if they want to win football games. And I think this is a week that I think they just have these weeks where they just plant their flag and they run the score up. And I think that Kittle gets in that end zone, and they do just that this week. So, agreed.
Oh, yeah. Great matchup, Teak. I'm seeing a little trend, too, with Purdy. I know some big key pieces might be out. We don't know yet. Reports they might play. But even if they do play, week 3, Kittle, 16 points. Week 4, 2 points. Week 5, 28 points. Week 6 against a tough Browns defense, 1 point. So he likes to jump back and forth. There's always one guy he hones in on, and I think it's going to be Kittle against this Minnesota defense. So good matchup, good start.
Yeah, the problem with Kittle is the targets. They fade him out in certain games for I don't know what reason. You mentioned that one Arizona game where he had 2 points. He had 1 target. And the Cleveland game, he had 2 targets. Why? It makes no sense to me.
They just choose to use him as an offensive tackle sometimes, honestly. I understand that. You want to get the run game going, stuff like that. But, short dumps, short little, in the middle of the field even, just to make the defense worried about him. That way it opens up your bigger playmakers. I don't know why they stray away from him so much.
Yeah, Teak, that's a good point. I'm looking here, even against Dallas when he had 28 points. He had 4 targets, 3 receptions, and 3 touchdowns. All of his receptions were touchdowns, which is good for us fantasy owners. But, yeah, the targets aren't there. That's a good point, Teak. So you got to target this guy more. Big safety blanket. Great player.
So that's the most reason for me is especially if those guys aren't playing, man. They got to throw him the ball, I would assume, right? So that's the main start for me for that reason.
Now, Baney is wearing his shirt that he was against Dallas. So why don't you show us, Baney? What'd it say?
Took me a second. Yeah, dude. Fuck Dallas.
I think he borrowed that shirt from Baney. Stretched out, now he got it back, but
hey, it's extra medium.
But that wraps up our starts episode. We appreciate you guys viewing the videos here. Please, 60% of you guys are not tuned in, not subscribed to the YouTube channel. It's totally free. Doesn't cost a dime. Badge loves it. Baney loves it. I love it.
Let them know fantasy football.
And we'll catch you on the next one.
Join our community and follow us on all socials, or keep up with the episodes on YouTube,
That's what we're
Spotify,
trying to
or
get
Apple
to.
Podcasts.
100%.